I remember the dry heat of that Texas summer wrapping around me like an old blanket, the kind that's comforting until it starts to smother you. Out here in the Panhandle, where the land stretches flat and endless under a sky that's too big for its own good, family gatherings were supposed to be the glue that held everything together. But that day, as I maneuvered my wheelchair over the gravel path leading to the rehearsal dinner at the old Red Rock Ranch venue, I felt the first real crack in that illusion. The place was all Western charm, string lights dangling from wooden beams, hay bales dressed up as seats, and those fancy mason jar centerpieces that screamed rustic elegance without trying too hard. Kelsey, my older sister, had picked it because it matched her vision of a perfect cowboy chic wedding. I gripped the rims of my wheels tighter, navigating the uneven ground, my heart pounding not from the effort, but from the knot in my gut that told me something was off. Mom, Sarah, had gone ahead to help with setups, which usually meant fussing over details while avoiding any real talk. I wasn't part of that crew. Never had been since the accident 5 years back that left me relying on this chair. A freak car crash on a back road. Nothing dramatic like in the movies. Just bad luck and worse timing. Physical therapy got me to where I could stand for short bursts with crutches. But the chair was my constant. Folks around here treated it like a badge of courage, calling me inspirational at church potlucks or high school games. But in my family, it was more like an inconvenient footnote. The venue door swung open with a creak, and a coordinator with a clipboard flashed me a quick smile, her eyes dipping to my chair before snapping back up. Welcome. Head on in. I nodded and rolled inside, the air thick with the scent of barbecue prep and fresh-cut wildflowers. The long communal table dominated the space, decked out with name cards propped on mini cowboy boots. Cute, if you were into that.
Iskanned for mine.
Wheeling past clusters of guests in their best boots and sundresses. Kelsey's card sat prime in the center, next to her fiancé Grant's. Dad, Alex, was at one end, Sarah nearby.
But mine?
Tucked way off to the side, near the swinging kitchen door. Handwritten in hasty scrawl, special needs guest. Not Laura. Not even sister of the bride. Just a label that made me sound like a problem to be managed. My chest tightened, like someone had cranked a vise around my ribs. Was this a mix-up? I stared at it, willing it to change, but it didn't. Voices buzzed around me, laughter, clinks of glasses, but no one noticed. Or if they did, they pretended not to. I backed up slowly, parking myself against a wall beam, out of the flow. Sarah emerged from the back, cheeks rosy from whatever wine she'd sampled, spotting me with that forced brightness in her eyes. Hey, sweetie, you made it.
Emotion hill.
Keeping my voice low. Mom, my place card. It's not my name. It says special needs guest. She glanced at it, then waved a hand like swatting a fly.
Oh.
Laura, don't read too much into it. It's Kelsey's big moment. Let's not stir the pot. Just roll with it. Okay. And that was that. She patted my shoulder and floated back to the group, leaving me there with the sting settling in. I didn't push it. I'd learned early on to swallow these moments, to be the easy one who didn't complain. School trips where I got the special bus. Family barbecues where I was parked by the grill for safety. Always grateful. Always quiet. But this felt like erasure. Plain and simple. As folks took seats, I wheeled to my spot, the kitchen door banging open every few seconds with servers rushing through. A cousin, Jake, I think, leaned to his wife and muttered, "Who's that girl by the door? Part of the staff." I caught it, but I sipped my water and stared ahead, breathing steady. Don't react. blend in. Then came the toast. Kelsey stood, radiant in her rehearsal dress, glass raised high. Y'all, thank you for being here. This means the world, Mom and Dad for all the support, Grant for putting up with my crazy planning, and my bridesmaids, especially Brianna, my rock. Cheers erupted. Glasses clinked. I waited for my name, that tiny acknowledgement. It never came. No, and my sister Laura. Just the fade into applause. My smile stayed plastered on, the one I'd mastered for years. But inside, something shifted, a quiet resolve bubbling up. Later, by the bar, I overheard Kelsey talking to the coordinator. Voice casual as chit-chat. Make sure that wheelchair over there doesn't clog up the aisle tomorrow. Don't want it messing with the shots. That wheelchair. Not me. Not Laura.
Just an object in the way.
I retreated to the bathroom, locking the stall and staring at the tile. The mirror showed a girl who'd tried too hard to fit, hairstyled, makeup on point, but still invisible. That night, driving home with Sarah in silence, the Texas stars mocking me from above, I didn't cry. I planned. In my room, I found an old family photo album tucked away, one with a sketch I'd done as a kid, Kelsey and me under a mesquite tree, holding hands. It used to hang in the hall. Now it was shoved in a drawer. Glass cracked. I propped it up on my shelf. A reminder. Scrolling my phone, I saw Brianna's post, a group shot of the bridal party. Me cropped out entirely. Squad goals, the caption read. That did it. I opened my notes app and started logging. Dates. Words.
Slights.
Not for revenge. For proof. If they wouldn't see me, I'd make them. The next day, back at the venue for final checks. The sun beat down on the open fields, dust kicking up under tires. Sarah dragged me along, saying it was family time. I hung back, wheeling behind a decorative wagon, close enough to eavesdrop. Kelsey at the bar again. Yeah, keep that girl out of the main photos. Aesthetics. You know, that girl. My grip whitened on the rims. I documented it all, building my case like a detective in one of those true crime podcasts folks love out here. No drama yet, just facts. That evening, Aunt Irene texted, "Honey, toughen up. It's one day, don't make waves." I deleted it. Waves were coming, whether they liked it or not. The wedding eve blurred into a haze of last-minute chaos, the kind where everyone pretends to be excited, but really, they're just counting down. I stayed in my room most of the day, the Texas wind rattling the shutters like it was trying to shake loose secrets. My notes app was filling up fast, every overlooked invite, every skipped mention in family chats. Dad called from his truck. He was out on a job, hauling equipment for the oil fields, but his voice carried that steady calm I'd always leaned on. "How's it going, kiddo?" I hesitated, then spilled a bit, the place card, the toast skip. He sighed deep.
Laura.
You deserve better. But family's family, talk it out. Easy for him to say. He and Sarah had split years back. Amicable as these things go in small-town Texas. But he still showed up for the big stuff. That night, the bridesmaids' gathering spilled over to our house, laughter echoing from the living room, bottles clinking. I wheeled out for a glass of water, catching Brianna, my supposed best friend and maid of honor, mid-sentence. Yeah, Kelsey's stressed about the photos. Doesn't want anything.
Distracting.
Eyes flick my way, then away. Distracting. Like my existence was a glitch in her perfect frame. I retreated, heart hammering, and added it to the log. Sleep didn't come easy. I lay there, staring at the ceiling fan, worrying like my thoughts. Why did I have to beg for a spot in my own family? The accident hadn't just taken my mobility, it had rewritten my role to the one we accommodate. Morning broke hot and relentless, the sun turning the horizon into a golden blaze. Wedding day. Sarah bustled in, dress half-zipped, barking orders.
Laura.
Get ready. We leave in an hour. I nodded, slipping into the bridesmaid gown I'd fought for. A soft blue that matched the Texas sky. But as we arrived at Red Rock Ranch, the venue alive with guests in cowboy hats and boots, that knot tightened again. The ceremony setup was picture-perfect, arches draped in wildflowers, rows of white chairs facing the open field. I wheeled to the bridal suite, where Kelsey was getting touched up, mirror reflecting her flawless glow. You look amazing, I said, meaning it despite everything. She smiled thinly. Thanks.
Hey.
During photos. Maybe hang back. The photographers got a tight vision. Hang back. I bit my tongue, but the resolve hardened. The ceremony kicked off under that blazing sun. Vows exchanged with tears and cheers. I sat in the back row, designated accessible seating, watching as if from another world. No walk down the aisle for me. Kelsey had nixed that. Citing logistics. Reception followed. Tents shading long tables laden with brisket,
Cornbread. And sweet tea.
My seat, again, off to the side, near the porta-potties. Card reading, guest with assistance. Cousins milled about, but conversations skirted me like I was fragile glass. As toasts began, Grant first, charming, funny. Then Brianna, to Kelsey, my sister from another mister, and the squad that made this happen.
No, Laura.
Sarah raised her glass next, praising Kelsey's strength, Dad's support.
Silence on me.
Finally, Kelsey, thanks to everyone who made my dream real.
Mom. Dad.
Brianna, you're my world. The crowd hooped. I clapped mechanically. The erasure complete. But in that moment, under the string lights twinkling like false stars,
I decided, enough.
I wheeled to a quiet spot behind the tent, pulled out my phone, and hit record.
No script.
Just truth. Hey, family. It's Laura. I've been quiet too long. But today, you made me that wheelchair girl. Left me out of toasts.
Photos.
Everything. Not because I couldn't be there, but because you didn't want me seen. It hurts, but I'm done pretending. I love y'all, but I deserve to be part of this story too. I posted it to the family group chat and our shared social circle, not public, but enough to ripple. Then I waited, heart in my throat. Notifications buzzed immediately. Cousin Jake. Whoa. Laura. Anne Irene. This is the wedding timing? But others. I had no idea. Saw the... Dad texted privately. Proud of you. Kid. Back at the reception. Whispers spread like wildfire in dry grass. Kelsey spotted me. Face paling. What did you do? She hissed, pulling me aside. Posted a video? On my day. Her eyes welled. But anger flashed hotter. You're ruining everything. I met her gaze steadily.
No. Kelsey.
You ruined it when you erased me. She stormed off, Grant trailing confused. The party stuttered, dancing delayed. Guests checking phones. Brianna approached, sheepish.
Laura.
I didn't mean. Kelsey said it was for the flow. I nodded. But you went along. She deflated. No defense. Sarah found me next, face etched with worry. Honey, why now? Because now's when it hurt most, I said. Dad arrived late from work, pulling up in his dusty truck. He hugged me tight. You spoke your piece. That's strength. As the night wore on, the energy shifted, not to chaos, but reflection. Folks approached quietly. Didn't realize.
Laura.
Your family. Kelsey avoided me, but I saw her glance over. Something cracking in her poise. Driving home with Sarah. Silence hung heavy. I should have seen it, she murmured finally. We all should have. I didn't absolve her, but I didn't accuse either.
Yeah.
But maybe now we can fix it. Back in my room, I sketched, not the wedding, but a simple scene, a family table. All seats filled. No one sidelined. It wasn't revenge, it was a vision. The video hadn't blown up the day, it had cracked open the truth. And in Texas, where family runs deeper than oil wells, that was a start. The days after the wedding felt like the calm after a dust storm. Everything settled, but the air still thick with what got stirred up. Our little town in the Texas Panhandle buzzed quietly. Folks at the diner or church whispered about that video at the wedding, but no one confronted me directly. That's small-town etiquette for you. Gossip behind backs. Smiles to faces. I stayed home mostly, wheeling through the house with a new sense of space. My room became my sanctuary. Sketchpad open. Phone on silent. The family group chat? Dead quiet for 48 hours. Then tentative pings. A cousin sharing a recipe. No mentions of the big day. Kelsey and Grant jetted off to their honeymoon in the hill country. All vineyards and romance. But texts trickled in from others. Brianna first. Laura.
I'm sorry.
I followed Kelsey's lead without thinking.
Can we talk?
I replied simply, when you're ready to listen. Dad swung by with takeout from the local barbecue joint, ribs and slaw. Our ritual. We sat on the porch, watching fireflies dance in the twilight. You did good. Standing up, he said, voice gravelly from years in the fields. Reminds me of your grandma, never one to back down. I nodded, sharing how the slights had piled up like unpaid bills. It wasn't just the wedding. It was everything. He squeezed my shoulder. Family's messy, but it's worth fighting for. Just don't let bitterness take root. Sarah was harder. She tiptoed around me, making extra coffee, asking about my art. One evening, as the sun dipped low, painting the sky in oranges, she sat across from me at the kitchen table.
Laura.
I failed you. I saw the signs, the seating, the skips, but I told myself it was nothing. Tears welled. Real ones. I was wrong. You're not special needs, you're my daughter. I let the words hang, then reached across. I know,
Mom.
but we need to do better. All of us. She nodded, wiping her eyes. It wasn't a hallmark moment, but it was honest, a step toward mending. When Kelsey returned, tanned and tense, she showed up unannounced. I was in the yard, sketching the old oak tree that shaded our driveway. She approached slowly, dress casual.
No makaparmer.
Can we talk? I set the pencil down. Sure. We wheeled/walked to the porch swing, her sitting, me parking beside. Your video. It hurt, she started, voice cracking. But it opened my eyes. I was so wrapped up in perfect that I pushed you out. Called you that girl like you weren't my sister. I met her gaze.
Why?
Kelsey? Was I that embarrassing? She shook her head.
No.
Scared. Maybe. Of things not going smooth. But that's no excuse. I'm sorry.
Laura.
Truly. We talked for hours. Tears.
Laughs.
Raw truths. She admitted the pressure of social media weddings. How she'd let aesthetics trump family. I shared my logs. The years of feeling sidelined. I didn't post to ruin your day, I said. I posted to claim mine. She hugged me tight. The first real one in years. Let's start over. You're in every photo from now on. It was an instant fix. Trust rebuilds slow. Like rain filling a dry creek. But it was a beginning. Brianna joined later. Apologies flowing. I was blind to it. Won't happen again. We ended with iced tea. Planning a low-key family barbecue, no labels. Just us. Weeks turned to months. I submitted my college apps to UT Austin. Portfolio brimming with pieces inspired by the ordeal. Abstracts of visibility. Strength in stillness. Acceptance came. A fresh start. Family dynamics shifted. Chats included me. Gatherings had ramps front and center. Kelsey even framed one of my sketches from the wedding, a reimagined scene with all of us together.
Reminder, she said.
Dad hosted a cookout, toasting to real family, the kind that sees each other. Sarah volunteered at a local disability advocacy group, her way of atoning. The lessons settled gentle. Speaking up isn't about destruction, it's about illumination. In the vast Texas expanse, where horizons teach patience, I learned family isn't perfect, it's persistent. We weather storms together, emerging stronger, scars and all. No more erasures, just open arms. But old habits die hard. At a cousin's birthday, I caught a whisper. Make sure Laura's comfy. Not malice. Just reflex. I smiled. Wheeling over. I'm good, right here in the mix. Laughter followed.
Genuine.
Progress. One night, under a star-studded sky, I sketched again. A circle of chairs around a fire.
Facile warm.
Mine in the center, not sidelined. The pencil felt lighter. The lines freer. I'd fought not for revenge, but recognition. And in winning that, we'd all gained something deeper, a bond reforged in truth. Fall crept in subtle, the Texas heat yielding to crisp evenings where coyotes howled distant melodies. School started back, my senior year, a blur of classes and college prep. But the wedding's echo lingered, a quiet hum in family interactions. Kelsey called weekly now, not just for updates but real talks about her new job in Dallas. Grant's ranch plans, my art. Send me your latest sketch, she'd ask. And I'd oblige. Feeling seen. Brianna rebuilt bridges too, coffee runs, movie nights. I messed up big, she admitted once over lattes. But I'm learning. I forgave. Not forgetting, but moving forward. Forgiveness, out here, is like tilling soil, hard work, but necessary for growth. Sarah dove into therapy, individual and family sessions. Our first was awkward. A counselor's office in Amarillo smelling of lavender diffusers. Why did it take a video to notice? I asked the room. Answers came halting. Fear. Denial. The cultural push to keep it together. Dad joined virtually from the fields. We got complacent. Bone again. Tears flowed. But so did breakthroughs. We set boundaries, no more labels. Equal inclusion. It wasn't overnight magic. Arguments flared. Like when Kelsey slipped and suggested special arrangements for Thanksgiving. No, I said firmly. Just family, she backtracked. Apologetic. Progress. Community rippled too. A local paper picked up the story, anonymous. But word spread. Folks at church offered quiet support. Proud of you, Laura. It sparked talks on accessibility, even a town hall on inclusive events. I spoke at one, voice steady, It's not about pity, it's about equity. Applause followed. Empowering. My art evolved. Pieces sold at a local gallery, abstracts of wheels turning into wings, symbolizing rise above. Holidays tested us. Thanksgiving at Dad's ranch. Tables set equal. My seat central. Toasts included all. To Laura, for reminding us what's real. Kelsey gifted me a custom sketchbook. Engraved. Your voice matters. We laughed over turkey. Shared stories without filters. Christmas followed suit, no sidelining. Just joy. But challenges came. A family trip to Big Bend.
Terrarouge.
We'll adapt, Kelsey insisted. Renting accessible gear. We hiked, me on trails with support, bonding under desert stars. Spring bloomed. My graduation looming. Kelsey planned a party, consulting me every step. Wheelchair-friendly venue? Your input first. It was genuine. A far cry from wedding woes. At the event, under twinkling lights like before, but inclusive now, I gave a short speech. Family isn't about perfection, it's about showing up. Scars and all. Cheers erupted. Hugs followed. Reflecting back, the drama wasn't vengeance, it was catalyst. In Western America's vastness, where self-reliance reigns, I learned vulnerability strengthens ties. We emerged kinder, more aware. No fairy tale end, but real, messy, loving, human. One evening, wheeling under the mesquite, I paused at the old tree for my childhood sketch. Wind whispered lessons, speak your truth gently, but firmly. It mends more than it breaks. As summer returned, hotter and wiser.
I pakt for kollegie, utåsten.
Art major. A new chapter under city lights far from panhandle dust. Family helped. Kelsey loading boxes. Sarah fretting over dorm accessibility. Dad, with truck hauls. You'll crush it, he said, hugging tight. Move-in day buzzed with energy, roommates welcoming. Campus ramp smooth. But homesickness hit. Eased by calls. Miss you already. Kelsey texted with photos of family dinners, my empty seat noted. But spirit present. Back home. Changes stuck. Kelsey advocated for disability rights at work. Inspired by me. Brianna volunteered at Adaptive Sports. Sarah's group grew.
Hosting events.
Dad installed more ramps at his place. Ripples extended. Cousins inclusive now.
No whispers.
At a reunion, Aunt Irene pulled me aside. You taught us all. I smiled. We taught each other. My art flourished exhibits. Commissions. One piece. Unseen no more. Depicted a wheelchair in a spotlight. Family circling. It sold. But the real value?
Healing.
Visits home were warm, BBQs. Stories.
No erasures.
Kelsey announced pregnancy. You'll be the best aunt, she said. Hand on belly. I beamed, sketching baby ideas. Years blurred. But the lesson endured. In America's heartland, family drama teaches resilience. Speak up with heart. And bridges rebuild stronger. I didn't seek revenge. I sought visibility. Finding humanity instead.
Now.
Graduated. Back in Texas with a studio. I mentor youth on self-advocacy. Your story matters, I tell them. Mine did. From that girl to centered, the journey was worth every turn. The end wasn't dramatic, just peaceful. Like a Texas sunset, colors fading soft. Promising dawn.